Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're tackling something really central. Agile. Rapid value delivery. Look, modern business needs speed, right? Innovation has to happen fast, but crucially, without sacrificing quality. And maybe even more important, how do you make sure that speed delivers, actual measurable value?
Yeah, it's a huge challenge.
So we're exploring this through a synthesis of two big ideas. First, the entrepreneurial thinking of LinkedIn co-founder Reid Hoffman. And second, the disciplined framework of agile software development. You've probably heard Hoffman's famous line, "If you're not embarrassed by the first version of your product, you've launched too late."
Always gets a reaction, that one.
It does, and we're going to unpack what it really means. It's not about being sloppy. It's more a strategy against perfectionism, right? To get that vital real-world feedback sooner. And Agile, well, it kind of puts that into a repeatable process.
Exactly.
Okay.
So our mission today is to give you a framework for achieving that rapid and sustainable value delivery, moving beyond just ticking off features to really grasping why it matters, connecting the big picture strategy with, the day-to-day execution.
Okay, so let's dive right into that Hoffman quote, the embarrassed by the first version one, because like you said, it gets reactions, people hear sloppy, but that's really missing the point, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's fundamentally about testing your initial hypotheses, getting them out of the building and in front of the market to see what reality looks like. It's about early valuable feedback.
Which connects to that whole permanent beta idea.
Precisely. That mindset is, well, it's a cultural prerequisite, really.
Yeah.
It demands continuous improvement, yes, but also psychological safety. You have to accept that organizations, just like software, are always kind of works in progress.
Right.
And that culture is what makes agile ceremonies like this retrospective actually useful.
Yeah.
Where the team can honestly discuss what worked, what didn't, without fear.
Okay, so how does that entrepreneurial spark, that willingness to be embarrassed, translate into like the daily grind, the operations?
Well, this is where Agile provides the structure. Think about the Agile Manifesto. One principle is deliver working software frequently, with a preference to the shorter timescale. That's basically Hoffman's launch early turned into an operational rule. Shorten those feedback loops.
And the other principle, working software is the primary measure of progress. That changes the game too, right? Away from just plans and PowerPoints.
Totally. It redefines success. Now, if you look at the connection, the sort of Rosetta Stone between Hoffman's urgency and Agile's methods, you see it's about sustainable development. Speed doesn't come from chaos. It comes from efficient, repeatable processes designed for learning. But this immediately brings up a critical question. How do we actually define the real value we're aiming for? Because honestly, it's often pretty fuzzy.
That's so true. Value isn't just shipping a feature off the list. It's only real when something gets delivered to and validated by actual stakeholders, real users, real customers. And that's why the product owner role is so vital in Scrum, for instance. They're empowered to prioritize the product backlog, guided by a clear product goal. And value itself isn't just one thing, is it? We're talking commercial value, customer value,
and crucially, future value. Things like paying down technical debt, which often gets overlooked in the rush.
Yes. Let's talk about the engine then, the practical side of rapid delivery. It often kicks off with the MVP, the minimum viable product. Now, Hoffman might say embarrassing, but the idea's evolved a bit, hasn't it? To minimum lovable product, or MLP.
Yeah, that's a great refinement. The MLP is the smallest thing that users can actually, fall in love with. It solves a core problem reliably, even if it doesn't have all the bells and whistles yet. Reliability is key, even if features are minimal.
Okay, but how do you build and release that minimal but lovable thing quickly without setting everything on fire?
That's the million-dollar question. And the answer lies in the technical practices. Continuous integration, CI, and continuous delivery, CD. These are the automated pipelines, the safety net.
Right.
CI constantly merges code changes, running tests automatically. CD gets those changes deployed smoothly, often automatically, into production or a staging environment. This pairing is what breaks that old assumption that you have to trade speed for quality. You can have both if you build the right infrastructure.
And you need feedback loops tied into that.
Absolutely critical. Robust user feedback analytics, surveys, interviews feeds directly back into the product backlog, making sure that CI/CD pipeline is building and delivering the right stuff faster.
But this speed, it definitely has risks. We mentioned technical debt earlier. Let's unpack that a bit. It's like taking out a loan, isn't it? Choosing the easy fix now that makes future work harder.
Exactly. It's the accumulated interest from those quick and dirty solutions. And if you don't manage it, it compounds and directly slows down your future agility. It's not just some geeky IT problem. It becomes a real strategic liability.
Are there examples where this went badly wrong?
Oh, definitely. History is littered with them. Think about Friendster. They had massive early growth, but got crippled by performance issues, largely due to ignored technical debt. Users got frustrated and fled to MySpace.
Wow.
Or, even more dramatic one, Knight Capital Group. Back in 2012, a manual deployment error, something CI/CD aims to prevent, caused automated trading systems to go haywire. They lost $440 million in 45 minutes.
Ouch. That's speed without discipline.
Precisely. It underlines the point about the MVP or MLP. Minimal features, fine. Minimal core reliability, absolutely not. That foundation has to be solid.
So bringing it all together, what's the takeaway for leaders from this Hoffman Agile blend?
I think fundamentally it's about building organizations that learn fast. It's about balancing that strategic urgency, the Hoffman drive, with operational discipline, the Agile mechanics.
So foster that permanent beta culture you mentioned.
Yes, that's number one. Then, truly empower product owners to own that backlog and make value-based decisions. You also have to invest seriously in that CI/CD engine. It's not optional for speed and safety.
And measurement.
Measure holistically. Don't just track output, like features shipped. Look at customer impact, user satisfaction, and importantly, technical health. Make technical debt visible, maybe on a balanced scorecard, and actively allocate capacity to pay it down. Treat it as investing in future value.
So as you, our listener, think about how your own organization approaches innovation. Maybe the key takeaway is this. The goal isn't just, doing Agile ceremonies for a specific project. It's about being Agile deep down in the company's DNA.
Right. And perhaps a final question for you to ponder. How are you ensuring your organization is genuinely in permanent beta? Are you set up to continuously iterate, relentlessly focused on delivering real, measurable value, not just for the next quarter, but for the long haul?